Hey guys, thanks for your comments and DMs. Keep the questions coming. Remember, the more questions you ask, the more help I can provide. Now, your favorite topic. Question of the week. This question comes from Edgar in Dublin, Ireland. In your book, you have a great example of two strategies which align to the vision. However, what happens if the vision can be delivered by two different strategies? For example, outsource functions versus doing it in-house. At what step or level would you push your stakeholders to make a decision in terms of which strategy to pick? The decision process can actually stop the program, as a business case would have to be pulled to compare the two strategies or approaches. I might have answered my own question, i.e. business case. However, I wanted to know your thoughts, as building such BC can put a long pause on the program. Thanks, Edgar, for your question. It's a great question. There are two parts to your question and therefore two answers. But before I get onto those answers, I'm going to make an assumption. In a normal project or program, the document or deliverable that initiates or kicks off the project or program is the business case. You said that the decision process can actually stop the program, as a business case would have to be pulled to compare the two strategies. I'm going to assume two things. One, you're in the pre-program stage before there is a program, and that your projects haven't actually started. As you said, the business case would stop the program. And two, that you don't actually have a business case, as you said that the business case would be needed to be pulled to compare the two strategies or approaches. I think what you actually mean, the business case would need to be pulled together to compare the two strategies or approaches. While we're on business cases, let's be clear that we're on the same page. A well-written business case contains 5 cases. A strategic case of why and how the project meets the organization's strategic needs. Economic case, how the project provides value for money. The financial case, why and how the project is affordable. The commercial case, how the project is commercially viable. And management case, how the project can be delivered successfully. And most importantly, how and who will manage the changes in the business once the project has been delivered. Now, how a business case is developed is like your business architecture and business transformation, and that is iteratively. Depending on your organization, it's developed over 3 incremental or iterative stages. Stage 1 is the strategic outline case, the SOC. Stage 2 is the outline business case, the OBC. And stage 3 is the full business case, FBC. I'll give you a quick overview of each of these here. Your stage 1 SOC, the strategic outline case, is very much a high-level first pass, providing your stakeholders and board the strategic context of the program. The purpose is to provide a robust case for change. What you don't know and you haven't done at this point is undertaken any analysis, SWOT or otherwise, not looked at a range of solution options or indicative costs. You've just said, this is what we want to do and why we want to do it. Your stage 2 OBC, your outline business case, starts putting the meat on the bones. You revisit each of your 5 cases and provide a more granular level of detail. You provide your stakeholders with more comfort and certainty that you've now identified your preferred solutions, provide value for money, an analysis of how you can afford it, how the project can be delivered by your named stakeholders or suppliers using your current procurement arrangements, and then how they will manage and deliver your project for you or with you using their agreed method. And finally, your stage 3 FBC, your full business case. The purpose of the FBC is to revisit each of your 5 cases of the former business case, the OBC, the outline business case, and get down to the detailed negotiations of actual costs, confirming the actual costs still provide the estimated value for money from those shortlisted suppliers, external and internal, that will deliver and manage your program and changes into the organization, right up to signing the contracts with any suppliers. Now, depending on your organization, it is at the approval of the FBC by your governance board and bodies that funding and resourcing is released and contracts are signed and the program officially kicks off. That work you did up until getting the FBC signed off, funding came from a pool of discovery work or from the FBC itself. Now to your 2 questions. The one, what happens if the vision can be delivered by 2 different strategies, for example, outsource versus in-house? And 2, at what step or point would you push your stakeholders to make a decision in terms of which strategy to pick? To your first question, what happens if the vision can be delivered via 2 different strategies, for example, outsource or in-house? The short answer is they aren't really strategies. Well, not right now, they're not. What you have is 2 potential solution options. The long answer is you would, or it would be pragmatic, to work through each of those options to work out if in actual fact both options could deliver the vision within the same cost, time and quality you expect. The devil is always in the detail. To give you an example, on one UK banking client I assisted with their business transformation, which involved outsourcing their market risk roles to India in a late to market outsource strategy. Although the COO out there in India stood to inherit new roles and grow his empire and supposedly reduce the location footprint in terms of both FTE costs and building costs, the client was late to market with their right-shore strategy, as it was politically correct term for offshoring at the time, that their competitors were well embedded into that part of India, that the talent pool was tight, they would pay a premium to headhunt, poach and recruit those risk specialists in that particular part of India. As the client didn't have a presence there, they needed to acquire or lease a building. That due to incumbents being there for several years ahead of them, the property was at a premium, and staff expectations of a quality workplace meant meant that they would have to pay a high premium. On top of that, the locations they were looking at worked on Indian Standard Time, not Greenwich Mean Time, unlike other parts of India that had adopted to the UK to better serve the UK market. What that meant in terms of customer experience and workflow and entity and business processes between continents, that meant that there would be a gap in working hours, that work, queries and responses would not be answered during UK working hours but responded to overnight. Despite all this, the client had already gone to market and made a press release that they were going ahead with this new strategy. So needless to say, they didn't like the recommendation I gave them, even when the COO, who already had a 400 plus headcount out there, who welcomed the idea of growing his empire even more, supported my recommendation not to proceed, mostly due to it not meeting 4 of the 5 business cases. The project wasn't strategically aligned, it didn't offer value for money, it wasn't affordable with the recruiting and building costs, it wasn't commercially viable, despite having a business out there already, although the business was a credit risk, not market risk, which meant similar but different skill sets, but they did have the management capability to run the project and implement the changes. Now, your second question, at what step or point would you push your stakeholders to make a decision of which strategy to pick? The short answer is never. Let me explain. I wouldn't push them per se, it is more present the options to them and let them decide. Through the conviction of your argument that you present and your analysis you carry out, you will provide enough information for them to make an informed decision. Now, the when would you provide this information? Because I assumed your program hasn't started, that when is at the business case stage. If your program has started, however, you would have had the business case approved. Then what that means is that you are looking at only 2 options. Now that means in terms of your business transformation, therefore in terms of HOBA, that when is in the benefits model. This is where you compare the costs of developing, delivering and implementing the business changes and technology enablers that are when implemented in the business allow the business to realize those planned benefits. It is there from that cost benefit analysis of those solution options, in your case the cost of outsource or in-house, produces the results you want within the time, quality and cost and risks, that is becomes your preferred option. So there you have it. At what step or point you push stakeholders to make a decision in terms of what strategy to pick. That's what happens. Hope you found that helpful. Remember, if you have a business transformation question or problem that you want help with, leave a description in the comments below and I'll choose the most interesting for my professional followers and do a video answering your question using the HOBA tools. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss the updates, and look out for the announcement of the 8-week Agile Transformation Training launching soon, where you can get all the templates and tools in my book as well as Kanban to manage the whole process online. If you want to be the only one to win the course for free, type yes in the comments below and I'll let you know how. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.